Over time, more entrepreneurs started taking social media more seriously, specifically YouTube. And in this video, I'm going to show you the key things that make this platform the best for them. My name is Mehdi. I started making videos at 10. Disclaimer, this is not a YouTube growth video. This is for creator entrepreneur.
Because the troll comments in this world are like, if you have so much money, why are you making these videos?
This is an asymmetry. This is why I do YouTube.
If I have so much money, why do you think I'm making the videos? Because there's value in doing it.
YouTube is by far the best way.
Starting with the first problem, and it's pretty simple. You have a business, you want to make sales, you want to grow it. The normal thing is to invest in ads, but you started encountering many problems, like not getting the return on investment that you got in the past. You spend more, but you don't get much in return. And so your business starts to plateau. And if you don't do anything, it will start to fall off. The thing about ads is that it's like 2x linear. The more you invest, the more you get return. And even if you still get your return on investment, is this ads thing really beneficial for long term? What if you could make free content and market your things and become an authority, unlike burning your money on a one-time thing that doesn't have long-term leverage? I mean, sure, if your thing is good, word of mouth is gonna spread. But what about those who don't know you? Why they should even buy your thing? They're not interested in it. Maybe it will help them make more money, become more productive, and so on. But they don't even know why they should get interested in that thing that you'll help them in. And here's an example. This guy makes over $12 million a year. But if you look at him now, he has a YouTube channel. Interesting. Well, according to an expert who helped him with his channel, Andrew Kirby, ad costs started to rise and profitability started to decrease. And YouTube Organic was identified as the next focus. He got people interested in flow state, becoming a flow state expert, not just a productivity expert, teaching people about what he's passionate about, what his company is about, helping professionals achieve peak performance. You can't expect someone who makes $1 million per month, perhaps more, be wasting his time making YouTube videos. And the thing is, even if people like Rian or anyone else still decides to run ads, they could be more effective than before. Like Alex Hormozi, big personal brand, 20 million views a month. However, he still runs ads. We'll get to why. Ironically enough for Rian, they bootstrapped the company with no outside capital. Interesting. Do you want to know why? It was because the co-founder was Steven Kotler, an influencer, specifically an author. They had a podcast channel. The co-founder has books. And so now through Rian, it's like an ecosystem. You can get into the newsletter, you can read the books, you can even watch the podcasts if you're really interested. And eventually, there's a high likelihood to buy from them. And their program is high ticket. And even if you don't now, that image of a flow state expert will stay in your mind so that if you make money in the future and think, oh, how can I become more productive and grow my business? You're gonna think about them. Now, side note, I don't agree with everything they might say or teach in the program. It's just an example, like the yoga or meditation, letting that aside. The thing is, yes, more people recognize that growing your personal brand is key for business. But why YouTube out of all platforms? There's actually an interesting rule by Google that reinforces this. I don't know how you perceive YouTube, but it's still one of the platforms that you really can take education on it seriously. Yes, there's Instagram, TikTok is not as valuable as Instagram. And also people on Instagram, they can watch your reels, and if they're interested, they can go to YouTube. X is a very valuable platform, networking, and although it is below 600 million users, LinkedIn is also beneficial. But why YouTube? Everything revolves around it. It's long-form video connection that other platforms do not have. And even if you make like long-form TikTok content or long-form Instagram content, the perceived quality of a YouTube video is just way more. We can say that audio podcasts are more valuable than YouTube videos, but at the end, if you don't get in their face, how are they going to know about your podcast in the first place? You're going to rely on the podcast platforms algorithm, so you might just make it a video. Another thing is that if you have people's trust these days, you're already ahead of many. It is still not free to make organic content, but just imagine a video that you made 10, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years ago. Get someone interested in you and binge watches all of your content. Well, not all, but a large portion of it. And he's now more ready to buy.
I stopped producing content on my YouTube channel all across social media about 2 years ago. And all of them basically died except for YouTube. Over those 2 years that I stopped, YouTube continued to deliver, our subscriber count continued to grow. Our video views continued to grow, and we still got customers coming in every day and buying from us, and they came from YouTube, even though I didn't make a video for 2 years.
Okay, that's cool, but I have a big promotion. Can I still run ads? Yes, even with organic content, because now that people are familiar with your face, and even if you don't have a big audience, you don't need a big millions of audience. People could be more willing to buy because either one, they recognize your face already, or two, they look for you and they find your content and now they start consuming and getting interested more in you and what you provide. And this makes the relationship between you and your target audience stronger. Furthermore, there's a rule by Google, which is the 7-11-4 rule that essentially states before someone buys from you, they need 7 hours of engagement with your brand, 11 touch points of engagement, and 4 separate locations of contact. It's about that long-form content. Newsletters, long YouTube videos. The second component is the evergreen outreach. It's like the outreach is done for you while you're asleep without quote-unquote spending money. Because you still, spend time, you can spend a little bit of money or a lot, depending, but it's still like this ongoing wheel.
So I can spend an hour of time and 300 calories and make 300 grand. This is an asymmetry. This is why I do YouTube. It's the most asymmetrical activity that I think I could ever find in my business.
Building your authority, showcasing your expertise, and your brand overall. Compounding effect. And this is for the long term, a long ride. And exponential. Literally everything comes back to YouTube. Even if you think about someone like Andrew Tate, he's just an example here. When he was going super viral on social media, getting that facial recognition, people didn't know who this guy is and started looking for him. And he made many interviews, over an hour, over 2 hours. 3 hours. Think about when podcasts started to pop up on YouTube. People were not to use it to watch such format, sitting down to watch like 2 people talking over an hour? You get it. YouTube is the ultimate place for education at a mass scale. To scale your business, and before getting to what these people are doing, trust me, because it's more than a simple act of making videos. There's even a psychological concept called reciprocity. You may be familiar with it. And when explaining it, it will make sense. For now, let's get to the second key, ecosystems. This is not something new. Let's take a look at the book industry first and get to YouTube. See these books in front of you? They're written by Russell Brunson, big marketer entrepreneur, and his company ClickFunnels went from like 0 to 1 billion valuation in 6 years. That's impressive, right? Well, you see, the books Russell made were directly benefiting his software, building his brand, and getting people to consume more time with him, as if they're with Russell, getting them interested about funnels and ClickFunnels. And why is this even a thing that you should be excited about? Now, let's take a look at the modern era. Iman Gadzhi, very famous finance guy. And as much as he can be labeled as a scammer or people feeling that he tries to sell them, he is a great marketer and he will try to sell you. This is someone who didn't take his YouTube channel seriously until 2022 to help grow his e-learning company that he actually was thinking about closing it. He's not just trying to sell you a subscription. He's building an ecosystem. His info company that has courses, 24 support, and fancy stuff, whatever, from starting your own agency to being a sales rep. He's even bringing experts in other domains, making it an educational thing. It's not just courses. Another thing that could be seen his software company, hormozi, which is specifically designed to help agency owners. And even back then, Iman just sold social media marketing agency course. But now it's like this guy who had an agency helping you sort your own and you can learn other skills. It's like, hey, why don't you use our software? It's designed by agency owners for agency owners. No brainer. And so you got the YouTube content getting facial recognition and the subscription and another subscription, which is like hormozi. See where we're going? It's like you starting by buying an iPhone, then you expand to a Mac, then you expand to another thing from Apple, then another thing, AirPods, whatever. And you've also probably seen many entrepreneurs copying Iman's style with the background and the animations, the thumbnails. That is a huge mistake. That is not building a personal brand. Iman has a creative mind, and paying an agency or an editor to copy his style is not building a personal brand. And simply competing with someone at that size is a stupid move. Do you want to know the cool thing? Is that you don't have to be fancy about it. Charlie Morgan, this guy also used to do the Iman Gadzhi style.
Iman Gadzhi background, and I had the crazy editing, and I had the black screen and the fancy light that made my eyes burn. And like, I just got so sick of it, man. Like the content I was making the same videos. I was just like, this is boring. I wouldn't even watch this content.
But then when he switched to making content that like his younger self would benefit and that advantage of him being the market, and we get to him later, his channel has grown more, he made more sales. Or like William Brown, this guy makes raw videos and he's published a book. It's not just about who you are. Maybe some people could still have this idea of it's about you and your authenticity, which is like, yeah, I agree. It's about who you are and your authenticity, but it's also about what you actually preach. If you waste people's time and your content is just regurgitated stuff that people already know, well then why? Why would I buy from you? Why would I consume your content? And so for example, so Iman Gadzhi's competitive advantage is his real life results at a young age and creative experience. He didn't compete. He created his own competition. And no wonder when someone gets on the track, he doesn't get the results that Iman got. It's simple. Because you're not a man. It's like he created his own game with his own rules. Of course you're gonna lose. And even if you're, maybe teaching something not related to what he teaches, like people would still recognize that it's type of Iman Gadzhi style. He realized the power of YouTube. I think that's because of his creative director. And so they utilized it, saw a problem and started solving it, which is like Iman becoming a role model for young people, which interestingly enough, even older people than Iman got interested in him because they're like, look at this young dude that is making money. Something is there. Even people who already are making money are interested in Iman. But anyway, don't try to simply copy. Maybe in the beginning to get started, but like you want to create that personal brand. And we get to this issue more of not caring about having a distinct style, because why would I care? I have money, I can pay a fancy editor. And fundamentally, these people kind of don't understand branding or understand it and choose to ignore that anyway. I'll prove to you more later. But I even think what I already said makes sense to why. Here's another example of ecosystem. You've maybe seen his face. Luke Bilmar, young, biohacking, finance, crypto, multiple clips of him around the internet. But ultimately, you get to know him through long form content, interviews, basically YouTube. He has his own community, Capital Club. It has courses, and even their website says the fastest growing entrepreneur club in the world. And to be honest, he was the one who brought my eyes to this idea of an ecosystem. Listen to him closely.
The guys that founded Shopify, they could have easily created the Shopify platform as their own e-commerce platform for their own stores, right? They could have easily done that. They would have been able to build a couple stores, do extremely well, make 7-8 figures, but they created an ecosystem for everybody to be able to create stores, for everybody to be able to develop inside of that ecosystem. They created an app store, they created events, they created this phenomenal podcast with a great host. This is part of a garden that is attracting butterflies.
And so even if you're making simple videos, Like Charlie Morgan, who doesn't care, whiteboard, no editing. Can he hire a fancy editor? Yes. And the whiteboard style simply works because A, they communicate that the video is educational. B, they help visualize unlike simple talking head video. C, it's not as time consuming as video editing or animating and gives good ROI. Many other benefits, but the main one is the perceived education value and making the video interesting without external factors.
So then I asked myself, I was like, what content on YouTube do I actually watch? Like, what do I go to? I used to watch old Alex Becker content, original. I can't watch the Hormozi stuff now because it's too like dopamine. I can't do it. But the old Hormozi stuff when he was just in his office, and then Sam Ovens' old content as well, and then some like old Patrick Bet-David content as well. And that was what I enjoyed, and that was what I liked. So I was like, one day, I bought the whiteboard in my office, and I got it put up, and I was like, I'm just going to make a video like with a whiteboard for an hour. And I'm going to post it. And I thought it was going to 10 out of 10 and flop and just completely suck. And I just started making videos I wanted to make. And I made videos that I knew that if I saw that video in my recommended thing, I would click it. That's kind of my rule. And this is the benefit I have of being the market in that way. I know the market better than it knows itself because I was the market and I've gone through the stages of transition that they want to go through. So I know what to put in front of them to get them to click. And I just started making whiteboard content, mate. I was just like, and then that video I posted did really well. And I was like, all right, we'll turn the recording studio into a bedroom, which is what we did.
The lazier way is like William Brown, simple talking head in your face. Want to learn? Come. You don't want? Go away. He's amassed this small but, genuine audience because he's able to keep people on the video. He made over $1 million from YouTube, treating it as a business. And even he said that one of the most important tasks or like the most important thing for him is YouTube. I'm going to play the clip.
Yeah, so for me, it's make a YouTube video, right? Because I don't run ads. So all my sales calls come from YouTube videos only, right?
Okay, we know that it's about connection. There is actually a psychological rule called reciprocity. Maybe you've been sold the idea of getting more views, and we've talked about the 7-11 4-hour rule. In the book, Influence the Psychology of Persuasion, there's this thing called reciprocity. A key principle in social psychology refers to the social norm of responding to a positive action with another positive action. This concept deeply embedded in human behavior. If you have those 100 raving fans, it's better than 100,000 casuals. And so before moving on 1 second, at the time of filming this video, we're at 460 subscribers. My goal before the end of the year is 100,000. It's crazy. Ambitious. It actually was 700k, then between 200k and 700k, then 200k. Now it's like 100k and more. Why not? It sounds impossible, but if you like the value so far, could you please hit the subscribe button? It will help the channel more than you know. Thank you. Let's get back. Besides the strategy of niching down, it's about solving specific problems for a specific audience. Persuasion is a powerful tool for fostering relationships and building trust on YouTube. Reciprocity works exceptionally well for several reasons, and I don't know if you noticed it in my call to action to subscribe to my channel. 1. Providing value. First, when content creators offer valuable information, whether tutorials or whatever it may be, viewers feel a sense of gratitude and obligation. Of course, this is more reinforced the more they consume your content, and you become an authority in their brain. My idea behind that is that people are used to getting value, but the more they consume your content, the more it's better. And 2, building credibility and trust. Consistently delivering high quality content establishes the creator as an expert in their field. This works extremely well when there's competition, but you're teaching niche things, solving specific problems for a specific audience. This builds trust and credibility, making viewers more likely to return the favor by supporting the creator's other ventures, such as purchasing products or services or courses, joining a program. And it's that engagement that you need. It's understanding how an audience behaves to create content that suits them. And I've been explaining to you why an audience behaves the way it behaves, from like what they can do when they see your ad and look at you online on YouTube, to why the 7-11-4 rule like works with reciprocity. That's understanding how viewers behave. It's humans in general, but like in the context of YouTube. When it comes to audience engagement, the key factors to consider include what your viewers will remember about you. To be honest, you want to make sure you follow your strategy that essentially is like a system that you should work on to achieve a certain goal. For this, like growing your business and getting the right customers, getting your message in front of the right people. And so even if you like diverge a bit, it should in a way still serve. You could choose like 4 main topics, but ultimately double down on a sub niche specific one, or trying to be specific in your content as much as possible. Experimentation is crucial. If your people watch your video, it doesn't mean those will watch less of it. In fact, I've noticed that in one of my previous videos, more time it got fewer views, but those viewers watched 9 to 10% more of it. Interesting. It's private right now. I republished it with differences. Anyway, no matter how cool the video is, if your target audience expects a certain level of quality and you don't deliver it, your video simply needs to meet that with a scripting, editing, and other aspects. But essentially, it comes to the core of the channel. What do you stand for? What you're against? Trying to compete in the level of, oh, editing is just like a losing game. That is competition. Remember, you want to create your own competition. You want to start with a good base. And as I said, experimentation is crucial. People watch until they're bored, not until they get the information they want. Distinguishing yourself in your niche is vital. I'm not saying you shouldn't get inspired by someone's, like stealing like an artist, stealing from here and there. It's like even this animation style that you see in front of you. I have other animations different. You know, you can say that it's somewhat inspired by Iman Gadzhi, but it's not an Iman Gadzhi style. And it actually works better because A, I don't have the skills or software to do that fancy thing. B, I'm not an animator. C, I found a simple way make these type of animations without an editing software. Understand that it's about what people associate you with. And by directly copying an established guy, people might recognize the style or will recognize the style and relate you to him. It can be exhausting to see the same style over and over and over. Branding is like associating something or a word with a specific logo or a person. It's like Apple. It's about innovation and think different. By understanding and using these aspects of audience behavior, how an audience behaves, how an audience perceives things, you can create content that attracts viewers and keep them engaged. There was something on YouTube which is like the Mr. Beastification, where Mr. Beast was growing, gaining followers, the fast cutting style, the giving away money, other creators started copying. And so Jimmy Donaldson created his own competition. So when people were making similar content to him or close, they were immediately recognized as like copycats or, oh, the Mr. Beast style. If you want more connection with me, you can join my school community. It's about helping creator entrepreneurs make high quality content that truly engages with their target audience while saving time. There's also a free template there and a strategy I made for an entrepreneur. You can join the community while it's still in the alpha beta phase. I'm not accepting everyone because it depends on the type of content you actually make. And it's free, scarcity and urgency. Join now. While your request is pending, you can watch this video and I believe you'll benefit from it.